Broadcasting from the Dixon Petunia Festival Sweetland Studios, this is Along the Rock.
Hello again, and welcome to Along the Rock, our podcast that pays homage to the people of the Sauk Valley and the river that runs through it. My name is Mike Moris. I'll be your host. My guest today, very excited to welcome the woman who has written the book called Dancing with Money, of all things. Her name is Kayla Tenboer-Sipes.
Yes.
And that leads me to think that you're probably from, if you're from this area, which I know you are, you're probably from Western Whiteside County. So.
Yeah, I'm from Morrison, born and raised there. It's been a great life. I love Morrison.
Well, thanks for coming up. I appreciate it.
Yes, of course. Glad to be here.
You have a book, and as I mentioned before we started filming, it's not really a long book.
No, nice and short and to the point.
And there are a lot of people who, when they pick up a book, they don't want to read 500 pages of how can I improve my relationship with my husband or wife, or how can I do better with my salary, rather than spending it all on the weekend and not having anything left. So why dancing and why money?
Well, I was a financial coach. I had a business doing that. And I got asked to do a speech for the Rotary Club. And I was working on that speech. And my topics that I came up with, my bullet points, I started realizing that those 6 bullet points had to do with dancing. And I have been dancing since I was in 5th grade.
Okay.
And it kind of has always followed me through life. And once I got to college, I was like, I don't want this dancing to follow me. And everyone knew me as the dancing girl. And I'm like, I just want to stop being the dancing girl. I want to be more than that. And so I tried to push dancing out of my life. And I couldn't. It's like it's following me. And I'm like, if I can't get away from it, why don't I just claim it? So I was like,
good idea.
These 7 topics about dancing also relate to money. And those 7 skills have helped my husband and I really improve with our finances. We were able to pay off $26,000 of debt in 4.5 months and then save up another $20,000 over the next 6 months. And it's just by using these 7 skills in our day-to-day life, it's changed our life.
Okay, well, you're going to have to run down the steps then, because that's a lot of money to not only pay back,
right?
But get ahead in less than a year.
Yeah. Yep. 46,000 in 8.5 months.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So dancing, teach us the steps, if you will, so to speak.
Yeah. So your 7 skills to improving your personal finances are control, focus, balance, flexibility, habits, consistency, and trust.
All right. Well, briefly, each one, and why is that something you have to study to become good at?
Okay, so the first one is control, and you have to know the what, where, and when of your money, just like in dancing. So you have to know what you're making. A lot of people don't even know how much they're bringing in, and they definitely don't know how much they're spending. They don't keep track of it. So you have to know what you're taking in and spending. You have to know where it's going, and you have to know when it's coming out of your bank account. And that when is gonna be your cash flow calendar to tell, so you're telling your money when it's leaving your bank account instead of it just coming out whenever it wants. So you're in control of your finances instead of your money being in control of you.
We know you have to take steps and that you have to learn those steps. So why is it, do you think, that people don't just naturally come upon these thoughts when they're sitting down over the kitchen table, usually talking about money, maybe arguing about money? Who knows? It just depends.
So what I've found is that a lot of people don't want to face their finances. They want to hide under the covers and hope everything's going to work out, and it probably will, because God takes care of us and we'll get through anything. A lot of times you get to the end of the year and you're like, how did we get through that? Well, it works out. But when you're intentional with your money, that's when you're going to start seeing progress. And it's not really steps, these are skills. So there's not like one over the other. It's not like you do this and then that. It's not steps, it's more of combine these 7 skills all in one in your day-to-day life, and that's how you're going to make progress.
Okay. Is this specifically designed for married couples?
Not specifically. I have a different book for that called Porch Talks, and that's not out yet. But yeah, this is more of just for the everyday person. It's not specifically to marriage, but there are some stories about my husband and I and what we've gone through and the mistakes that we've made and how we fixed those mistakes and did better.
All right, so what are some of the mistakes you made as a couple?
Oh, geez. Everyone can read about my mistakes. We definitely bought a house that we couldn't afford. That was a big one. We had no money to our name. We were barely able to, we went to the bank and got our cashier's check and got the amount that the lender told us to get on a cashier's check. And no kidding, the banker looked behind us to see if there was somebody robbing us, like at gunpoint or something, because they were like, they looked at us and they're like, you realize that's all your money. Like you have nothing left in your account. And we're like, we're buying a house today. Isn't that exciting? And we were so young and dumb and broke. It was great. And luckily we brought the check over and we had overpaid by $264. So we were able to take that check back to the bank and then we had $264 to our name after buying a house.
Whoa.
So I definitely recommend make sure you have an emergency fund in place before you buy a house, at least $5,000, just so you have some cushion, because guess what happened when we moved in? The first night, the basement flooded.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah, and we had to put everything on a credit card, and that started our cycle of being in debt, and it just snowballed from there.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this, I guess, is, so you've learned anyway, as in writing this book, this is not uncommon.
Oh, no. And as a financial coach, I have seen this time and time again. And at that point, you know, I said most people are hiding under the covers. By the time they reach out to me, they've come out from under the covers and realized, oh, shoot, we're in trouble. We need help. So those are the people I mainly talk to. And those people are drowning in debt, a lot of time credit cards, which you know can be 16% more interest on that, and they're stuck and they don't know how to get out. And they have student loans, they've got 2 car payments, and people are stuck in debt and they don't know how to get out, but these 7 skills can help them get out of debt.
4 days of nonstop fun. The 2025 Dixon Petunia Festival is the place to be this July 3rd through 6th. With concerts, fireworks, food, the parade, and much more. Full lineup at petuniafestival.org.
Are you a proponent of being patient when looking at homes or other big expenditures?
Well, I think that everyone's life is different, and there's a lot of different factors that go into that question, because there could be a new job, a baby, like there's a lot of different factors that come into play. But by lowering those interest rates, we're going to get more money circulating into the economy, and that's good. I also bought a house in about that same time, so I got a 2.25% interest rate. We, you know, one of the lowest. And now we're buying a house again, and the interest rate right now is like, you know, almost 7%, 6.5 or something. And but I'm not worried about it because we have a plan to pay off our house in 9 years. And so it's what you do with that interest rate. I mean, if I keep it the whole time, then yeah, I'm going to be spending more money, but I can pay that off, and then it doesn't matter about the interest rate. So it depends on everyone's situation.
Okay. When I heard the title Dancing with Money, for some reason the term dancing with the devil comes to mind.
Ooh,
there are those who say that money is the root of all evil.
I am going to correct you. It's the love of money.
Okay.
So it's that first part. If you idolize money, and there's actually a story in my second book about that, and a lady came up to me at a church event, and I was selling my book and everything. And, money's awful, it's evil and everything. And I'm like, oh, honey, it's not, but it's the love. It's the way you interact with your money. If you love that instead of loving God, that's when you're going to start running into problems.
Okay, so how does God play into this then?
I write about that in the chapter about trust. When we got out of debt, we followed Dave Ramsey's baby steps to get out of debt in his program. And y'all, I was terrified. I was so scared because his steps say to lower your bank account down to $1,000 and throw that anything extra towards your debt. At that time, we had just gotten a tax refund for $5,000, and we took that $4,000 and threw it at our debt. And I was terrified that something was going to go wrong. We were going to, the air conditioning is going to go wrong. Something's going to go wrong. We have no money to pay for it. But you have to trust that God's going to take care of you while you go through the process of taking care of your finances. So if you take care of your finances, God will give you more to manage. And that's what we learned. Every time our giving, we didn't give before Dave Ramsey in his program. And we started giving and we started making more money. And it was because every time we gave, God gave us an opportunity to work hard to make more money. So we always got that money back or more just because that opportunity came out of nowhere to make more money. And we had to, work hard to get that money. But it taught us to keep an open hand instead of just idolizing that money. It taught us to be giving. It taught us to open up our eyes to the community. Oh, they're in need. Oh, can I pay for their, meal today? We just brought our whole family, my in-laws and my aunt and uncle, to lunch after church. We were like, let's just bring them to the park for dinner. And we paid over $100 for everyone's lunch because we have a random giving category in our budget. Mm-hmm. So just by real things that you can do to give, God will take care of you if you are good at managing your money.
So trust and faith, I guess, go hand in hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're not the same word, but
no,
they can be the same philosophy, I guess, is the word. Well, how does one get a hold of this book? Again, 64 pages. It's got to be a quick read. You say, I think in here that, in fact, on the front of the book, it says quick read. So, how do you get a hold of this thing?
Amazon, Walmart, Barnes & Noble, Thrift Books. It's all over online. So get it from there.
Generally, the price?
$15.
Okay.
Yep.
That's what I thought I saw online.
Yep.
All right. It's called Dancing with Money. It's by a woman who is originally from the Morrison area, Kayla Tenboer-Sipes. And I appreciate you coming up.
Yeah, of course.
Money it's funny because it's not just money.
No, it's not.
It has a whole nother meaning and a whole bunch of other meanings for different people, depending on where they come from and how much they had when they were growing up and so forth. So I guess you've got to boil it down to the fact that, well, no, money is really just money.
Yeah.
Don't put feelings into it. Just look at it as green paper,
or
silver or copper coins, or what do they do with Bitcoin? So they just show you pictures. I don't know. But,
one of the topics in the skills is habit, knowing your habits, and that's so important because the way you were raised, the way you and your spouse handle money, how you raise is gonna affect how you and your spouse handle money. So reviewing your budget and your statements to figure out your habits and then changing those habits based on your goals. So if your Q, your the tell, so I know that if I go into Target, I'm gonna spend $150 and I'm gonna leave with a Starbucks. So by knowing this habit, I know to drive past Target, so I don't spend $150. So that's one of the hints in here is know your habits, and that's going to help you stick to your budget.
Yeah. Again, taking the emotion out of it.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Kayla, thanks. Again,
yes,
appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you so much.
All right. I'd like to thank Kayla, and also like to thank our crew here for making this program possible and a reality. I'm Mark Morris. Hope you can join us next time on The Rock.